On the island of Crete, over 3,000 years ago, a civilization flourished that was unlike anything the ancient world had ever seen. The Minoans, named after the legendary king Minos, were architects, engineers, artists, and sailors, masters of their time. They left behind stunning palaces, intricate artwork, and mysteries that still baffle historians today. But around 1450 BCE, their civilization collapsed. Entire cities were abandoned. Their cultural influence disappeared. What caused the sudden fall of this advanced society? Was it a natural disaster, a foreign invasion, or something far more complex? The Minoans were a Bronze Age civilization, thriving from around 2600 BCE to 1450 BCE. Their island home, Crete, placed them at the heart of the Mediterranean, making them master traders and seafarers. They established trade routes that stretched from Egypt to the Aegean and beyond, exchanging goods like pottery, textiles, and precious metals. But the Minoans weren't just traders. They were artists and architects of extraordinary skill. Their cities were unlike anything else in the ancient world. At the center of their society were massive palace complexes, the most famous of which is Knossos. These palaces were engineering marvels, complete with running water, advanced drainage systems, and multi-story buildings. Their walls were adorned with vibrant frescoes that brought their world to life, depicting scenes of bull-leaping rituals, processions, and a society in harmony with nature. The Minoans also developed a writing system known as Linear A, which remains undeciphered to this day. What little we know suggests it was used for administrative and religious purposes, but its secrets remain locked away, tantalizingly out of reach. For centuries, the Minoans were a dominant force in the Mediterranean. Their influence shaped the cultures of the Aegean, including the Mycenaeans of mainland Greece. But then, everything changed. Around 1450 BCE, Minoan cities fell into ruin. Their palaces were burned, their power faded, and their civilization came to a sudden, mysterious end. What caused their collapse? One of the most widely accepted theories is that the Minoans were victims of a natural disaster, specifically the eruption of the Thera volcano on the nearby island of Santorini. This eruption, one of the largest in recorded history, would have devastated the region. It's believed to have triggered massive tsunamis, destroying coastal cities and ports critical to Minoan trade. The eruption also spewed ash into the atmosphere, potentially disrupting agriculture and creating famine. But while the Thera eruption would have dealt a significant blow to the Minoans, some historians argue that it wasn't enough to cause their complete collapse. The palaces at Knossos and other sites remained active after the eruption. So what else could have brought this advanced civilization to its knees? Another theory points to foreign invasions. Around the same time the Minoans declined, the Mycenaeans of mainland Greece were on the rise. Archaeological evidence suggests the Mycenaeans may have attacked Crete, taking over Minoan cities and absorbing their culture. By 1400 BCE, Linear A had been replaced by Linear B, the writing system of the Mycenaeans. Could the Minoans have been conquered, their legacy subsumed by a more militaristic society? There's also the possibility of internal collapse. Some researchers suggest that the Minoans' highly interconnected society may have been vulnerable to economic or social upheaval. If trade routes were disrupted, whether by natural disasters or political instability, it could have caused a domino effect, leading to widespread collapse. And then, there's the question of religion. The Minoans' art and artifacts suggest a society deeply connected to their gods, with rituals centered around nature and fertility. Did a loss of faith or a failure to appease their deities lead to internal divisions and unrest? The truth may lie in a combination of these factors: natural disasters weakening the civilization, foreign invasions exploiting their vulnerability, and internal fractures breaking their society apart. But what makes the mystery of the Minoans so compelling is not just their sudden disappearance, it's what they left behind. Their art and architecture reveal a society of extraordinary sophistication. The frescoes at Knossos, with their vivid colors and flowing lines, depict a world full of life, movement, and balance. Their engineering, from aqueducts to complex storage systems, shows a level of technological advancement that was far ahead of its time. And their religious practices, centered around bulls, goddesses, and sacred symbols, hint at a spiritual connection to the natural world that we still don't fully understand. Standing among the ruins of Knossos today, you can feel the echoes of their brilliance. The crumbling walls, the remnants of frescoes, the ancient stones, they tell the story of a civilization that reached incredible heights, only to vanish without explanation. The Minoans weren't just a lost civilization. They were a reminder of how fragile even the most advanced societies can be. What caused their decline? Was it the wrath of nature, the force of an invading army, or something far more complex? The mystery of the Minoan civilization remains one of the greatest puzzles of the ancient world. Their achievements continue to inspire, while their sudden fall serves as a haunting reminder of how much of our past remains undiscovered. What do you think happened to the Minoans? Could their civilization have survived longer than we realize? Or did they fall victim to forces beyond their control? Share your theories and join us as we explore more of history's most fascinating mysteries.